Hello, welcome to a very special episode of the BATHAMSTER show. I'm here with my buddy Finn. Yeah, a lot of kit on this desk, so we're a little bit late, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it. Literally got this together last night, and for Finn, he's played a couple times before, but for me, this is my first time, so be patient, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it.
Yeah, enjoy.
Let's go.
you
thanks so much, guys, for listening in. It's
Yeah,
been a
thank
lot
you.
of fun, and yeah, good to learn playing in front of a camera and stuff like this.
I
Helped
hope
us be a little bit more experimental. But yeah, that was kind of good.
I hope everyone enjoyed it. Like it's always a weird one. It's kind of once you get started, you just gotta kind of find a rhythm with it and just
Yeah.
it's yeah. I don't know.
I mean, Finn was the guy who got me into Eurorack. And I mean, I've personally never played the piano, so this is kind of where the appeal of Eurorack is to me. Because obviously we have no keys here. We're running off sequences. So it's pretty amazing to have a system where I I can basically do exactly what I do when I DJ, but except, I'm playing an instrument and,
Yeah. You have all your tracks running and kind of mix between them, filter stuff out, put
Yeah.
stuff back in.
Yeah. And, as like intimidating as some of this looks, it's really not, to be honest. And essentially what we do is we set a load of rules, which are basically like what all these cables are doing.
Yeah.
And then it kind of just does the work for you, really.
You set up like what key you're going to work in, speed, stuff like that, and you've kind of got like on each of your tracks, you've got these like rolling stems where you can kind of morph the sound of them from one thing to another in real time, and you build stuff up, kind of strip it back, and yeah, it's sometimes like a lot more predictable than other times.
Yeah.
It's like you never really know what you're going to get with it, and there's kind of that's what the joy in it is.
Yeah.
I guess.
I mean, as we're playing, we're sort of like surprising ourselves, to be honest, like a lot of the time.
Yeah, definitely.
Like it's all completely new to us. But yeah, like it's been kind of cool to throw this together last minute.
Thank you so much for listening.
Yeah, not a problem. Right, so this is a sort of series of episodes, doing this one on Kafka and hoping to do some of them from my bedroom as well, to be honest. But the idea is to get in a load of young producers, live performers, stuff like that, and basically just talk to them about what they do. Because I feel like, there are a lot of podcasts out there for professionals and people, who have been in the business for a while. And, obviously I listen to loads of those and it's great to hear from them. But, it's for young producers, I think that it can be intimidating comparing yourself to these, big professionals and feeling like you need to get there quick, feeling like, you need to be at their level. I need to do everything they do. So I thought there was a gap in the market for
demystifies.
And, just like some other hearing from some like amateurs really who are just trying to work out, we're still figuring stuff out. And I think, hearing how everyone else is trying to learn and develop, I think there's a gap in the market for that. So what I want to know, Finn, is how you got into dance music and how you got into producing dance music specifically. And, what was the first spark?
Or I got into it, I guess, like kind of through two different routes. Like I started off producing, like recording stuff for bands, like mates, whether it's like playing guitar, singing, anything like that. Like, making like hip hop flips for people and stuff like that. And yeah, the more that you kind of get into it, I think you kind of like obviously follow like whatever you want to achieve with your music, but also like what your mates are into and stuff. So all of my mates started DJing. I was kind of like into the production side of stuff, so I kind of got into it really through the production and the electronic side of it. So
and this was all on computer, I'm guessing, when you first started.
Yeah, so when I started, like everything in the box and just basically just trial and error, like playing around with stuff. And then the more that I got into that and got into the kind of like sound design side of things, just
But I presume you weren't coming out with the results that you wanted to when you started out in the box. That wasn't what you wanted.
Not at all. I think like as well when I first started writing any music, I didn't even really know what kind of music I wanted to write, and then I started getting more and more into dance music, techno, and like electro and stuff like that. And I think that was kind of where I was leaning towards. And then I kind of got into playing around with some hardware synthesizers and stuff. Really enjoyed that, loved that, and it's nice being able to play something. I think one of the big,
the first hardware you were using, what was it? It was that rack mount.
Or I used a Ableton Push for a while, and like a rack mount. I had like a rack mount.
Was it Roland?
Roland synth.
Yeah.
Which was
couldn't
like
be farther than what you're into now.
Pretty confusing to use, to be honest. Like,
for anyone who doesn't know, a rack mount synth is just essentially just like a box that you have up on your wall, and it's almost like a tiny mini computer, and you control it with something else. It again has no keys, and it just has like a load of presets on it. From what I understand, you can dive and do synthesis on it.
Yeah, you can do all that kind of stuff, but at the time that was like I was just out of my depth, to be honest. So I kind of got into that, and I was like, okay, I want something that's playable. Like I want to be able to play my music. So I eventually kind of came across like Eurorack and modular stuff, and was like, you know, you can build your own instrument and your own environment to play with, and spent the next like 3 years putting this together, and basically similar thing, just like trial and error. You do something good, then you do it again. And
from Fins to it's a lot of trial and error.
Yeah, and a lot. And
this has changed a lot.
With like internet forums and stuff like that, you know, all the information's there.
Shout out Mod Wiggler.
Just have to, exactly. You just got to go out and look for it.
Yeah. So for people who don't get it, should it be intimidating? Is it an intimidating way to start music? Is it accessible?
I wouldn't start with it. I think it's the most accessible that it's ever been. Certainly until the last kind of like 10, 15 years, you know, this kind of stuff has been like, was kind of really like inaccessible before that point, and now it's kind of got to a level where you can DIY stuff. So like you can build stuff yourself, which makes it a lot cheaper. All the information's there. So from that point of view, it's more accessible. I would say like you probably want to just start with like a desktop synth, like something, I don't know, like a Mother 32 or something like that. A little all-in-one kind of thing.
Which is what you started with in your...
Yeah, that was... I got one of those pretty early on.
D-Fam.
I don't have it anymore, unfortunately. But
drummer from another mother.
Had to sell it to fund this.
Yeah.
So I chipped towards it. So, but it is. I would say it's all there if you want to do it, and if you are into your dance music, you know, or your ambient music or any sort of electronic stuff, you know, you can sample within these if you set it up right. You can make your own drum machine.
And you know, for me, the main benefit is that you can do whatever the hell you want with this.
Yeah.
You know, you've got people who you can make your own drum machine. You can make it sound exactly how you want it. Obviously, that's probably not going to come out first time. You're going to, you know, buy a few bits and realize, you know, you have a load of shit that does the same thing. You know, classic mistake is just buying a shitload of oscillators, getting a shitload of stuff that can make sound. But, you know, the whole benefit of Eurorack is the control. Having stuff that you can help it play itself, and you just, you know, give a little twiddle every now and again. But
of have stuff like rolling in the background. You can have like automations and LFOs and all of that kind of stuff that, you know, if you're doing in the box production stuff, you'll be familiar with already. And like a lot of the theory really is like the same, to be honest. It's just like
So do you start all of your music on the Eurorack, or what starts an idea really?
Yeah, I would say probably at the moment I usually start with drums, actually.
Yeah.
I'll write on this. We've got a little drum machine down here that we were using during that set. So MFB Tansbayer for anyone out there who's interested. It's just like a like late 90s German drum machine, and just good like kind of
weighs
chord techno
absolutely nothing.
sounds.
This thing is light as hell.
Super light.
I don't even know
like,
how it makes that sound, but it does, and it sounds
yeah,
great.
It sounds awesome.
It was
And
tight.
I usually just grab that, like make a little pattern or something like that,
So
and then
you go
I
from
use
drums.
that as a bass.
You go from
usually,
drums.
yeah. I mean, sometimes I'll just like stand in front of this and fuck around, and you know, something good comes out, and it's like I'm using that.
Yeah.
But with if I'm on a mission to write songs, I'll probably start with drums. Just gives you the structure.
I mean, yeah, it does give you a structure, and like that's kind of the thing that that's what everyone dances to, really. So that's the sort of like main starting point with a lot of house and techno music mostly. I actually always start melodic. I mean, I've got this new module which I was using today, called the Morphogene, by Make Noise, and it is basically it's like a tape machine, but in a case. It's like a modern retake on how tape music used to be made, which for people who don't know is essentially recording onto tape, like real tape, and instead of how we do it in Ableton, we like chop up audio, we rearrange audio, and we write music like that people did that but manually with tapes. They'd lay the tape out fully on the table and literally chop the tape with a scissors at different points and stick it down,
stick it all back together
in different places, which
like speed up.
Yeah.
You have it running between,
which is
reels,
just
so
ridiculous.
You can speed
really,
it up to pitch it up or down.
Yeah, exactly.
You can bend the tape and all that.
So that's sort of how this works. I can literally, what we literally did before this was I connect my phone straight in, record anything into it, and yeah, you record one splice of audio in, and then you can set little markers, chop the audio at different points.
Well, do you have
rearrange, pitch shift it, stuff like that.
You can. Do you have that sound to hand?
I actually do have that sound to hand. What does it sound like? Is it going to come on? It's pretty quiet. Don't know why it's so quiet. If you got me down.
No. Oh yeah, I've got you muted.
Here we go. So this is the Morphogene. So that's sort of the audio. It's pretty chaotic right now, but you can really like mess it up like you can tape, which is pretty cool.
It has a very nice like texture and quality to it, and you can
really good for vocals, piano, stuff like that, and then you can really get super granular with it, and then you get these awesome sort of tones and textures that you don't really get anywhere else. I mean, it just completely tears audio apart.
Just for like background texture as well.
Super nice.
You can kind of have stuff like that rolling and push it to the back and just
what a lot
play
of people
around with it.
like forget in dance music production as well is like having these background textures and stuff that make it sound more organic and natural. Because it's very easy with a system like this to sound like AI's making music.
Yeah,
Really.
you need to kind of make it sound human as you can wherever possible, and have different elements of it interacting with each other, and there's like kind of natural like crackles and bends and stuff like that. Is
So
just
how do you add like a human feel in your live stuff? How do you keep it like someone's actually playing an instrument and you've got that natural swing, natural...
Yeah, so there's like timing based stuff. So I'll have like, I'll set like an amount of swing. So, you have that kind of like pulse in a rhythm that is similar to, someone playing drums or something like that, where the notes kind of shift slightly from one way to another. It's like every other note shifts a bit, so you get that kind of like more human feel. And then you kind of open stuff up, and changing kind of volumes and filters at the same point, kind of at the same time, kind of creates like dynamics in your music. And then like randomness as well, like you can bake little bits of randomness into your setup and into your patch, where
Sort of like probability of
yeah
each.
so you can say like on this specific step, you know, there'll be a 50% chance that the hi-hat is like twice as long as usual or something like that. So it's, you know, you can kind of cook in variation into it, and then also just playing it as well. Like you could, if you had a big enough system, you could probably just patch your whole set and like press play. But actually, like
If you look at like the Colin Benders style stuff, it's just like
but he's
massive.
But
system.
he's like super hands-on when he plays,
Yeah,
and like the reason is because like kind of programmed naturalization of stuff just doesn't sound the same as someone playing it.
No, it doesn't. And you know,
So, yeah.
it's hard to tame randomness. That's like the biggest skill. Is, you know, a lot of people say like, oh, like, you know, this is cheating. Like making music like this is cheating. You just, you know, it's just doing it for you. You've got a load of patterns set, but like, we see it as more of the skill is in knowing what's good and what's bad, and that I think with
takes a while to get used to as well.
Yeah, it takes a while to get used to, and when you're so encompassed in your system and you're only looking down, you know, it's so easy to forget. I mean, you know, we're not playing to a dance floor right now, so it's not too bad. But you know, you need to look up
if you're in like playing in like a dark club or something like that, and
with like rubbish monitoring.
Yeah, and you like look down and you're just like,
Can't imagine like 90% playing live in like 90% clubs in Bristol would be quite boomy, rumbly sound systems beneath you.
Just trying to work out what's going on.
Yeah.
I think as well, like just trying to change stuff up as much as you can and not keep it static. And if there's been something playing for too long, bring it out, or you know, change the pattern or the melody or anything like that. So.
Well, what Surgeon used to say is destroy it, let it burn. I think that was what he said. I don't quite remember that. He probably used a better phrase than I am. But
if in doubt, let it burn.
Yeah, if in doubt, if in doubt, let it burn. Basically, just if things start sounding bad, don't try and shy away from them sounding bad. Don't back out, because then everyone does notice. Make it purposeful and destroy it, and you know, I think it's
go from there.
Yeah, just much better to run like that. We got a guest.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
Welcome.
We probably need to end this show a bit early at some point, because taking this all down is going to be difficult.
Yeah, I mean, keep going for as long as you want. Do you guys want to wait outside? Oh, yeah.
Right, cool.
Yeah, we've got a quick turnover, so we're probably going to have to wrap up at some point, but this has been so much fun.
Yeah, thank you anyone who listened.
Having to speak and chat after being in that zone so much, it's quite... I mean, I was definitely I was a bit flustered at the beginning.
Pretty
it really does...
It's a lot.
Lock your mind in.
Yeah, it's a lot going on.
And getting straight back to chill and talking is definitely difficult, but, you know, something that I'm sure we'll lock down in the future episodes. But yeah, thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. I really hope you enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to watching this back on YouTube and actually seeing how well we really did. But
yeah,
it was a lot of fun. So sweet. Peace out, guys. Until next time.